Okay, Andrew, thanks for this little demo of Please take it away.
So if you imagine what the controls and the things I'm going through here, you'll see whatever I choose happen behind me. So if I change the background here, and I'm going to be looking at different places, you can see I've clicked on the little rooms area up on the right-hand side. Now, this is more or less successful on, and you can see a little bit of a, no, you can't, I can see it on mine, but there's a little bit of a part of my room and not the green screen appearing on the right-hand side. So I'm just going to adjust myself. And I can choose a room for the situation. So different background if I want that one. So the background thing's okay. Some of them are interesting, a little bit fun. You've sometimes got to think a little bit out of the box if that's what you want to try and create. And would you use that in an educational setting? Would you use this one in an educational setting? Probably not, nor would you use the press conference one. But it's just illustrating the degree to which you can manipulate the visuals to suit your learning outcomes. So generally speaking, I put something in the background. This is my standard meeting one, where it's not drawing a lot of attention. Talking about attentional management, my background and the snazzy features aren't drawing people's attention away from the message. Where I think it begins to become really powerful is in two key places. First of all, you'll notice at the bottom there's a series of slides, and I've got this slides off button here. As soon as I turn slides on and I move myself out of the way, then you can see that I can start talking to a representation of the message without in fact breaking my eye line. So I usually have this window in line with the camera, so that if I do that just now, so I can fix that, so that when I'm talking either live or when I record this, I actually have the message immediately behind me in the eye line, and I can make that full screen, and I can drop myself out of the way even more. You can see that little bit of green just poking through there. We'll just ignore that. Normally what I would do is just adjust the camera to make sure that the green screen edges are not being missed. And so I could sit here and talk to this particular slide, but I'm still a talking head in one of the corners compared to a graphic that's over here. So if I've got a model like this, then I can in fact set this up so that I can be in one of the quadrants and talk to this quadrant, and then be in this quadrant and talk to this quadrant. So that means I'm actually holding the attention of the learner into the sub-message that would be present in this model, because a model like this has, if it's a 2x2 matrix like this, would have 4 comparable different approaches to the broader context. So that means I could move my presence to be in a part of the screen that is really addressing the key point that I'm working to at that time. So that then opens up lots of opportunities for delivering engagement. There's a little bit helping the attention of the learner stay with the part of the model. It saves me from any airtime that says, well, if you go to the top right quadrant, instead of me saying, if you go to the top right quadrant, I can just be in the top right quadrant, and I don't have to say that. So therefore, I've not wasted any airtime. I can just say, well, here, what you'll see is, and it's a much more elegant, efficient way of, I think, speaking to learning points. You might have a list, a listicle, and you could move yourself down the listicle as you're going down through there. So for me, position yourself, and sometimes you might just need to disappear, so you're out of the picture altogether, and then you can just, now it was just sliding the mouse up and down, sliding the little mouse wheel or virtual wheel. So that's in a live setting, if that makes sense. For me, with someone who's a bit dyslexic and can really mess my words up, especially when I'm by myself, I can start to build up. You can see all the different versions I've got here. So you can see now I've got take 1, and I can actually start here and press record, and I can record slide by slide and then compile the individual videos. So if I'm building asynchronous video, I can use the record button, much the same way you're recording this to run asynchronously. I can do this in the environment. So it acts not only as a virtual camera into your live video instance, but it acts as a recorder of video content. It's not as snazzy, and it maybe the specifications aren't quite as high, but for teachers, and by the way, I think this is free for schools. It's about $10 a month for those out of schools. I have no financial interest. There's no affiliate marketing with this. It's just a favorite app of mine.
It's a cool
And
tool, yeah.
yeah, and as I go through, I can play that game that I was talking about before. So in terms of position myself, so I quite often like the white cutout with the model just offset like this. So I build my slides with an offset to give me my space to put my talking head. And one last little trick, I'm now in record mode, playback mode. So see the way that these connect together. Some of the writing might be a bit small here, but coaching and commentary. So now in a live feed that you're recording, I'm playing back something I recorded earlier. And if I had the same shirt on, I could actually flip between pre-recorded and live. I go back to edit over here. I'm live, back in playback. That's the one I pre-recorded. And in fact, I pre-recorded this for an asynchronous video. And you can simply export the file as an MP4 through that share link that's there. So technically, if something goes wrong with a delivery, and you've got and this happened in one of our sessions where the person had some really dodgy internet, and Tricia, in fact, and Tricia went straight to something she'd pre-recorded because she couldn't demonstrate live at that point in time. So profoundly flexible and supportive of different learning outcomes in an online setting.
So, looks fantastic, and we'll include the link in this description. And yeah, cool tool to use. If I wasn't traveling around and without a home as a digital nomad at the moment, I would absolutely have a green screen set up behind me and be using it as much as possible.
So that's my green screen behind me. And if I turn, it's literally just, so there's the bookshelf there. And if I can scroll up, there's the top of the pull up, and it's just sitting on the bed and a stool. So, in a corner of one of the rooms. And so you can see now I've got it fairly evenly lit. So that's one of the tricks, is to have good lighting, strong lighting on yourself, lower lighting behind, and learning the craft of trying to get the best cutout. But even without all of the green screen, you can get quite a successful, the algorithm that mmHmm has, if you just have a pretty plain background, it will do a very good job of cutting you out. And a lot of the EduSpark creators use it. And it's much better than the Zoom one, which gives you lots of blurry artifacts and stuff. So, yeah, lots of fun learning the craft of this one.
Awesome stuff. Thanks very much for sharing, Andrew.
Absolute pleasure. Talk to you soon.